Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel here. Yeah, it's another book chat video, and got a weekly wrap up. The second week of August is now done and dusted. Flying by already, you guys. So let's just get into what I read last week. All right, well, the first thing I finished was Shift by Howey. I only had a little bit more to go, and finished it up, and God, I really loved this one. This is book 2 of the Wool series. Like I always keep forgetting to look up if that actually has a name of the series, but the first book is Wool, second book is Shift. And this is of course the little read along that I'm doing over with Scott over at Book Invasion is hosting that read along of this trilogy, and finished this up. And this one we go okay, in Wool, there's something that's happened environmentally. Remnant of humanity sort of lives in a silo deep below the earth. Okay, that's the gist of it. In this, we learn what happened, and I really enjoyed going back, learning what happened to the earth. Why are we living in a silo underneath the ground? Why are things like they are? Because there's a bunch of rules and things as far as living in the silo, things like that. And yeah, this was really fantastic. We got a lot of information here, and yeah, I really appreciate it. I'm really enjoying this series. So I'll start the third one soon and finish that out, and I'm really excited. So yeah, I finished up Shift, and then I finished Vampires in the Lemon Grove by Karen Russell. This is a collection of short stories, and I like these stories really a lot. And I'm getting tongue-tied, sorry, but let's see, there's 8 stories here, and yeah, for the bulk of them, yeah, I liked most of these. I gave, lowest was a 3-star, but really 4-starred most of them. And Karen Russell writes, I don't know, they're kind of little quirky stories and all kinds of things like that. Hello. My son, I'm sorry, this is my life. But like the title story is about this this old vampire that lives in a lemon grove, and he's sort of learning that maybe he doesn't need to live by blood, and so they're trying out like living off lemons. Maybe that'll help. Maybe that'll help them not actually kill humans anymore. Things like that. There was one, my favorite was called Reeling for the Empire, and this one was, gosh, I don't know how you can explain it, but it took place in, was it China or Japan? I forget now. But anyway, so these sort of young girls would be hired out to come work for this sort of basically a silk making company. But something happens to where they themselves become silkworms in a way, without giving away too much. And that one was really fantastic. So yeah, it's just, yeah, like a lot of, slightly little strange stories, and yeah, I don't know, really enjoyed it. And let's see, did I write, I did not write the audiobook narrator down. I tried to do that, but I forgot. But I did listen to that on audiobook. Good way to go through the stories. And hadn't read anything else by Karen Russell. She's an author that's been on my list though to write. I own Swamplandia, so I still need to get to that one. So I'm excited though. I was jazzed by enjoying most of the short stories. So it spurs me on to like really get into her novels. So I was excited to dive in. Okay, and then I finished. I read True Crime by Samantha Kolesnik. Pardon me, I shift here on my, on my exercise ball that I sit on. And this is just a novella. It's been on my radar since it came out. Did it come out last year? Maybe 2019 now, I can't remember. But and this is a good one, but it's a tough one. This was a tough one. We we follow primarily a younger girl, and let's just get into it. She's being abused by her mother, physically, sexually. Her mom is just a piece of shit, essentially. And she has an older brother as well. And it just comes to the point where she's just had enough, and, well, she kills the mom. And she and her brother kind of go on the run, and a slight murder spree starts to occur, and then things go from there. And again, the story's hard to read. There are, we hear a little bit about the abuse that she has received from her mom, and this character is just this apathy in her life. Like, she just doesn't care about anything really, because from the get-go she was basically shown and taught that her body isn't her own, and her life isn't her own, and it doesn't really matter. Like, she doesn't matter, and she just deserves what she gets, kind of thing. And it is depressing and sad, and yeah, but it was really well written also. Samantha really made you feel for these characters, why they act. You can understand why they acted the way that they did, and things like that. And it's hard to talk about because it's a tough one, but I really enjoyed it. To say enjoyed it, of course, because it's so depressing, but it was a good look into this type of situation. Maybe I would say it was a 5-star for me. We'll definitely read anything that Samantha wants to put out, and looking forward to what she's got next. Yeah, so know that it's tough going into. It's got some very heavy topics, but I think it's worth your time. I'll say that. Then I needed something a little different. I just needed a palette cleanser, and I continued on with the Ice Planet Barbarian series. It's an absolutely ridiculous sci-fi romance series. I read Barbarians Prize. This is by Dixon. Did I say that already? And this is book 7, maybe? I forget now. 6 or 7, maybe number 6. And we follow another human lady as she's hooking up with an alien. It is what it is. Very quick read. They're fun. It got me kind of feeling a little better about things after reading true crime, and it's fun. So, and gave it 4 stars. This one does actually tackle some a big, kind of heavy topic as well, because the girl in the story, Tiffany, she was raped at one point earlier on in the story by the other aliens that kidnapped the human ladies. It's a long story, you guys, but so she's kind of working through this sort of PTSD and not wanting to be intimate with someone and things like that too. So it dealt with those heavy topics, I thought, in a really wonderful way. So so it got 4 stars from me. And then I listened to the audiobook written by Julia Elliott of the new and improved Romie Futch. I flipping loved this book. I didn't know what to expect from it. I had read The Wilds by Julia Elliott a couple months ago, maybe. It's a short story collection. And I was like, I want to check what else. She's only got these 2 things. I'm gonna need some more. I'm gonna need more for sure. What to say about our friend Romie Futch? So Romie Futch is a middle-aged divorcee. His trade is taxidermy, and he's a bit down and out. He kind of makes it through his day with booze and drugs, and you know, just hanging out with like some old high school friends, and you know, he's kind of, his wheels are just spinning and he's not moving forward, right? And so he sees this ad for basically an experiment that is supposed to make you smarter and you know, just make you a better person. So of course, like, he's, you know, doesn't have anything to lose, and so he signs up. And so we follow him as he goes to this lab, and we meet some other little quirky cast of characters of several down and out fellows, and we go through what the experiments are about, and we see him like gaining knowledge and all this kind of stuff through these injections in his brain and all kinds of stuff. And then he's sort of released, you know, and to start his new life. That's what he is hoping anyway, right? And he does. He gets back into his art. That was really, you know, something that he enjoyed doing in high school. He's really like, he's hung up on his ex-wife. But like, he really still loves his ex-wife. He's thinking, maybe I can get her back, you know, all this kind of stuff. And there's also this, his artwork involves his taxidermy. So he puts these wild taxidermied sort of displays together, and he hears about Hogzilla. Now, Hogzilla is this feral hog that's out in the swamps, and there's sort of this rumor that he's possibly genetically modified and like is just giant and everything. And he's like, I'm gonna need Hogzilla for my new, you know, for a new my new sculpture, basically. So there's this whole hunt thing about Hogzilla. I'm telling you, I don't even know how to describe this book because it is such a zany, wild ride. I absolutely loved it so much. Romie is like, he's an anti-hero that you didn't know you needed. You pull for him so much. You just really want him to succeed. You want him to get his ex-wife back. You want him to be a successful artist. You want him to get his shit together. And you're really hoping that he does. And it's so funny because he gets these brain injection, and he does become smarter. He starts using what they call the SAT words, and there would be these long passages of like words. I think I referred to it in my written reviews like a verbal tornado, you know, like a word tornado of like, and it's just amazing. I don't know how else to describe this book because it's so good, you guys. I laughed out loud several times. But it was also very tender at times because, again, you really kind of fall for dear old Romie, and you get some backstory of his past and why he and his ex-wife didn't make it, and struggling with fertility issues of them trying to have a baby, and him trying to, like, you know, just do better, you know. Oh my gosh, I loved this so much. I don't know that everyone will love it. It's a weird one. It's hard to describe, and it's one you just have to read for yourself if you think you'd like to read it. So if you like weird fiction, but it's not necessarily dark, but it is very strange. Give it a go, because I'm telling you, this is catapulted to a top fave of the year for me, for sure. And I'm gonna need a copy on my shelf because I will definitely want to reread this one day. And the narrator for this, I remember writing it down, T. Ryder Smith. Fantastic. This is set in the South, in South Carolina, and he just nails Southern accents. It's very accurate, and you know, like, if you're from the South, you would know that this is like it's familiar, I'll say. Anyway, gosh, you guys, like, I'm still thinking about this book. I finished it a few days ago, and I'm still thinking about old Romie, and I just love it so much. So, if you think you'd like to read it, go ahead and let me know if you read it and like it, because gosh, I loved it so much. Okay, let's move on though to the last book. I just finished it last night. It was Sweetheart by Bernard Taylor. on to something totally different, but by the way. And this was the book club pick for Rachel over the Shades of Orange, her Patreon book club. I'll link her channel below if you are interested in that. We have really amazing chats about the books that I reread. And I was excited to read this one because I hadn't read anything by this author. I'm pretty sure I first heard about this book maybe on Alex's, the Bookubus's channel, because I know that she really liked it. And so it kind of, went on my radar, And this is essentially a ghost story, and our main character is David, and he's a twin, and we follow him as he learns of his twin Colin has died, and his new wife has actually died as well. So Colin has sort of come to where they were, and he's now living in the little cottage that they were living in, and he's really trying to figure things out because it's a mystery. And of course we learn some secrets of the town, that kind of thing, secrets of their marriage, and these sort of puzzle pieces come together, that kind of thing, to reveal what happened, right? And gosh, I really ended up enjoying this one. I gave it 4 stars. Romie Futch got 5 stars, if that wasn't obvious. It's a very slow burn. It's a slow one, so if you're not really into slow burns, you may not like this one. But I really enjoyed this sort of slow reveal of what's going on, and just figuring it all out, right? It reads very much sort of like a suspense story. It's very gothic feeling, even though it's sort of set in modern day for the time, which was been like the 70s, I believe it was written. But there's no cell phones or anything, so there's people using the phone and writing letters, like who writes letters these days, right? And cast of sort of characters that are like, do they know more than they seem, or they're a little kooky, that kind of thing. So yeah, I was in. I was hooked on this story. Our main character David wasn't always very likable, and sometimes you questioned the choices that he made, but I don't know, by the end of it all, I really enjoyed this story, and I just appreciated it for sure, and absolutely will be reading more Bernard Taylor. So that was the last thing I finished last week. I had a very awesome reading week. So currently I read what I'm reading right now. I have dug into Queen of Teeth by Haley Piper. Buddy reading this with a few friends, and I'm excited. And dug into that. I do also plan on picking up Sinlin of Sins probably next week sometime. I'm starting that sort of read along that Leslie over at the Nerdy Narrative has put together of this series. So I'll be digging into that soon. I am also making my way through the Fun Guy collection. This is that anthology about basically fungus stories, and I'm really enjoying these stories a lot. If you're a mushroom fan, you might like this story. They run the gamut. So I think that's it. Yes. Hope you had a great reading week. This week has been a good one for me, but also just here at the end, I want to send a big YouTube hug to Josh over at Working Man Reads, Nikki over at Dark Between Pages, and Juan over at Plagued by Visions. A big supportive kiss to you guys, and I think that's it. So thanks as always for watching, my friends, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.